mental health to begin with?
Yeah, thank you so much. First and foremost, like you just said, today is the International Mental Health Day. The day we globally recognize all mental health concerns. Mental health, in simple terms, is the state of the mind. It can be good, it can be bad. The mind, the psychology, that's what we talk about mental health. Something we cannot see, something we cannot touch. And that's what makes it so difficult.
So if you can't see it, if you can't touch it, how do you tell that someone is grappling with a mental health disorder?
Oh yes, we can't see it, we can't touch it, but we can see signs. Very many of them.
So what are some of the signs?
Very many signs. Now, I'll give you an example. While we're growing up, we used to think if you're out there and you cannot sleep, I mean, you can wake up so early in the morning, we used to think that is a sign of strength. Yes, it may be, but I want to inform you and the viewers out there that people who cannot sleep, who have sleep disorders, if you're sleeping so long or so short, that's one of the signs. There are other signs like suicidal, people wanting to end their lives. All those are mental health signs that someone has a problem or something needs to be done about their mental health. And very many of them, yeah.
So where can they go to get help?
There are very many places here in Uganda. I will give you an example. We have Mental Health Uganda, the project I work for, the organization I work with, under the project of Time to Change, where we're trying to eliminate stigma. You know, there's so many stigmatizing words related to mental health. When we talk about mental health today, the common man will say the word mad. That's what we all think about. That's a big and bad word, if I may say. So, mental health is far away from that. Me and you and others out there are potential candidates. And there are very many things you can look at to identify the mental health of an individual. So, Mental Health Uganda is there to help people, give them guidance, and give them support. But that is on the side of service. We have other hospitals, health units, that look on the psychology or the clinical part of the problem of mental health. And here in Uganda, we are using Butarika Hospital. And among other places where someone can go and get help with their mental health.
Mr. Wilbrod, every 4 seconds, someone is taking their own life.
That's
mental
sadly
health
true.
challenges have been a huge problem since time immemorial. What can we do to prevent this problem?
Now, I will speak from my personal experience because I've had a lived experience with mental health and challenges. Trick number 1 that worked for me is self-care. We need to individually understand and know what works for us. For some people, it's getting back to their social life. For some people, it is family. For some people, it's their God. For some people, it's the friends around them. So every individual should identify and be able to know where their social support lies, what helps them. So what works for me may not work for the others. For me, it may be prayer. For my friend, it may be family. And for some people, it's their own families that are triggering those elements of bad mental health. So it's a whole range of policies and approaches that can be used to make sure that someone gets better. So it is not straightforward. And that's what makes mental health difficult, because this other clinical health, I come to the hospital and they say, okay, you have a swelling here, maybe you need an operation. But mental health, that cannot be seen. So it takes a lot of attention for people to understand that what works for you may not work for me. And that's the best way people can be helped, identifying their social support, beginning with the individuals themselves.
So the first solution is identify the problem.
Exactly.
Suicide right now is the biggest of the problems of mental health challenges, but it's not the only mental health disorder.
That's true.
What are some of those other mental health disorders that
I talked about the elements of lack of sleep. Lack of sleep, that's called insomnia or hypersomnia. Sleeping so much. Someone sleeps for 2 days.
Really?
Yes. And they're in bed for over 24 hours.
So that's a mental health disorder?
Definitely.
Go ahead.
We have people who cannot... mental health, World Health Organization tells us that mental health is the ability to cope with the natural stresses, normal stresses. But there are some people who cannot cope with the normal stresses. Someone is, for example, here in Kampala, small traffic jam, 5 minutes, and they're up and everywhere. All those are few elements and signs of mental health that are sometimes ignored, among many others. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Wilbrod, you've been very helpful. Thank you for coming. Mental health issues are really big in this day and age. Many people are taking their own lives.
True.
Well, thank you for helping us demystify
You're most
these rumors surrounding mental health disorders in the country as the world celebrates World Mental Health Day in this regard. You're still watching NTV at 1. Let's take a very short break. We'll be right back with more exhilarating information.
The Ministry of Health has planned a national measles, rubella and polio immunization campaign for all children under 15 years of age on 16th to 20th October 2019, starting 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from World Health Organization and UNICEF.
Feel the whisper of the refreshing ripple of Reham's goodness. It is ultra filtered, UV treated and ozonated to healthy standards. Reham Natural Mineral Water. Refreshment in every drop.
When it comes to power and electrical appliances, we recommend Shule Cables. Shule Cables are of the best quality.